Okay, children. So in the last class, we had discussed about electromagnetic radiations, right? Do you remember the topic? Yes, right? Anila, what do you mean by this electromagnetic spectrum? Electromagnetic spectrum.
Electromagnetic spectrum consists of different electromagnetic radiation which are arranged in the increasing order of this wavelength and decreasing order their frequencies.
Yes, they are known as electromagnetic spectrum, right? Then which are the electromagnetic radiations present in electromagnetic spectrum? Devika, all of you switch on your videos. Devika.
Gamma rays, X-rays, visible light, IR rays, microwave rays, then radio waves, UV rays.
Yeah. So you have to learn it in the order of increasing order of the wavelength or decreasing order of frequency. Okay. Gamma ray, X-ray, UV ray, visible, infrared, microwave, radio wave. Okay, children. Then what do you mean by frequency? Elaine, what do you mean by frequency?
Wave frequency is the number of waves that passes in a fixed path in a given amount of time.
Okay. John Philip, how can we represent this wavelength? Which letter is used to represent wavelength? John?
Lambda.
Very good. Lambda. G's, which letter used to represent this wave number? Wave number. Yes. Not audible. Once again. It's nu bar, right? Nu
Yes,
bar.
ma'am.
Yes, okay. Then what about the unit of frequency, Alangina? Unit of frequency?
Hertz.
Which one?
Hertz.
Yes, it's hertz. Okay. Then what about black body radiations? John Joes, can you tell me? Black body radiation.
Ma'am, a black body is an ideal surface that absorbs all frequency in a uniform manner. It also radiates, emits radiation.
Yeah, it is known as black body radiation. Okay, fine. Then today we are going to discuss about the next topic, that is Planck's quantum theory. Okay, Planck's quantum theory. So this theory was introduced by Max Planck. Max Planck. It is known as Planck's quantum theory. These are the main points regarding this Planck's quantum theory. The first one, matter radiate or absorb energy in discrete quantities discontinuously in the form of small packets or bundles called quanta. That we already learned, right? Do you remember that one? I explained that this energy is not in the form of a continuous, it's not in the continuous form, but it's discontinuously as small packets of energy. And the small packets or bundles, they are called quanta. Okay. Matter radiate or absorb energy in discrete quantities discontinuously in the form of small packets or small bundles. They are called quanta. In the case of light, a quantum light radiation, it is called photon. In the case of light, we are using this term photon. Okay, we are using this term photon. The energy of the quantum absorbed or emitted, it is directly proportional to the frequency of light radiation. That means it will change depending upon the frequency. If the frequency of that light or radiation increases, the energy of the quantum absorbed or emitted, it is increases. Okay, that's the second point. The energy of the quantum absorbed or emitted, it is directly proportional to the frequency of light radiation. That means if nu bar increases, this energy also increases. That's directly proportional. That's the meaning of directly proportional. Okay, so we can express this relation in the form of an equation. E is equal to h nu. I told you this energy is directly proportional to frequency. We represent frequency as nu, right? E stands for energy and nu stands for frequency. So E is directly proportional to nu. Then instead of removing this proportionality sign, and we can equate this equation by a constant h nu. This h nu. It is a constant and it is known as Planck's constant. Okay, it is known as Planck's constant. And it has a value 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. It's a constant value. You have to remember this value, okay? Planck's constant, it is 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second.
Ma'am, can you repeat the points?
Which one, second point or first one?
First
onwards. Okay. First point, we have learned that energy, it is not in a continuous form, right? It is emitted or radiated, not in a continuous form, but discontinuously as small packets of energy or small bundles of energy. That is known as quanta. Okay. That small packets or small bundles, it is known as quanta. And in the case of light, we are using the term photon for the small packets. Clear? A quantum of light radiation, in the case of light, it is called quanta. Sorry, it's known as photon in the case of light. Okay, and the second one, this energy of the quantum absorbed or emitted, it is directly proportional to the frequency of that light radiation. That means if the frequency of that light increases, the energy also increases. So we can write E is directly proportional to nu. So in order to remove this proportionality sign and equate this equation, we are using E equal to h nu. H stands for a constant. It is known as Planck's constant. And the value of this Planck's constant, it is 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. E stands for energy of radiation. Nu stands for frequency of radiation. That's the second point. And the third one, a body or matter radiate or absorb energy in all number multiples of a quantum as nh nu. In the first point, we have learned that this energy, the small packets of energy, right? So the small packets, it contains nh nu amount of energy, nh nu. So the first one contains, consider this as small packets of energy. Each one contains nh nu. So the first one contains h nu, second one it is 2h nu, third one 3h nu, like that. It is not in the continuous form, but it's small packets of energy. A body or matter radiate or absorb energy in whole number multiples of a quantum as nh nu. N stands for integers. Okay, it is h nu. If n equal to 1, it is h nu. N equal to 2, it is 2h nu. N equal to 3, it is 3h nu. N equal to 4, it is 4h nu, like that. So where n is a positive integer. So energy can be absorbed or radiated as h nu, 2h nu, 3h nu, like that. So these are the main 3 points including in this Planck's quantum theory. It was proposed by Max Planck. Okay. So this Max Planck's quantum theory can able to explain the black body radiation using this theory. Okay. We have learned that using that wave nature, we cannot able to describe the black body radiation, black body, etc. But using this Planck's quantum theory, he can able to explain this black body radiation. Okay. And here one more point. In the case of energy, we are using this frequency as a parameter, right? That means the frequency increases, energy increases. In the last discoveries, we just assumed that this intensity is the factor that varies along with energy. But through this Max Planck's quantum theory, we can able to determine that this frequency is the factor that can able to change the energy of the radiation. That's the second point. Okay. This is clear, children? Any doubt here? Anyone? Any doubt?
No.
Nothing. So the first point, it is just this matter radiate or absorb energy in the form of small packets or small bundles. That is known as quanta. In the case of light, this quantum of light radiation is known as photon. That's the first point. Second one, energy it is directly proportional to the frequency of radiation. So E is proportional to nu. Then in order to remove this proportionality sign and to make it equal to h nu, we add a constant. It is known as Planck's constant, and the value of this Planck's constant, it is 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. And the third one, we learned that this energy in the form of small packets. So here this body or matter radiate or absorb energy in whole number multiples of a quantum as nh nu. So n equal to 1, it is h nu. N equal to 2, it is 2h nu, like that. This is clear? All of you, please switch on your videos. Shreya, can you please read the slide? Shreya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Matter radiate or absorb energy in
Continue. Unmute. Shreya, can you hear me? Sarah, can you complete it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Matter radiate or absorb energy in discrete quantities and discontinuously in the form of small packet or bundles is called quanta.
Yeah.
In the case of light, a quanta light radiation is called photon.
Yes.
Point 2. The energy of a quanta observed or emitted is directly proportional to the frequency of the light radiation. The energy of a radiation is expressed in the terms of frequency. E is equal to hv.
H nu, it's new.
Oh, h nu.
Okay.
Where E is equal to energy of radiation, h is equal to Planck's constant, 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34
joule second.
joule second.
Yeah. New.
New. Frequency of radiation. A body or a matter radiate or observe energy in a whole number multiplies of quanta as nh nu, where n is a positive number, so the energy can be observed or radiate as h nu, 2h nu, 3h nu, etc.
Okay. Have you completed, children? So these are the main points in this Max Planck's quantum theory. So this theory can able to give a proper explanation for the black body radiation. Okay, here we consider this frequency as a factor that related to the energy of an radiation. Clear? Shall I move to next one, children? Yes. Next one is another important phenomenon explained by Albert Einstein. It is known as photoelectric effect. Okay, photoelectric effect. But this experiment was conducted by H. Hertz. And based on this experiment, Albert Einstein explained this photoelectric effect. Okay, here this H. Hertz, he performed a very interesting experiment in which electrons were ejected when the certain metals were exposed to a beam of light. And this figure itself, you can clearly observe that when light falls on certain metal surface, electrons are emitted from this metal surface, right? When this metal, it is exposed to light, electrons are ejected from the metal surface. Okay, and this phenomenon is called photoelectric effect. This is clear, children? Electrons were ejected. Electrons or electric current. Okay, electrons, electric current, that's due to the movement of electrons, right? So electrons or electric current were ejected when certain metals, not all metals, certain metals like potassium, rubidium, cesium, etc., were exposed to a beam of light. This phenomenon is called photoelectric effect. I will repeat it once again. When a beam of light falls on certain metals like potassium, rubidium, cesium, etc., electrons or electric current is ejected from the metal surface. This phenomenon is known as photoelectric effect. And there are certain conditions for this photoelectric effect to take place. We can discuss it later. Eva, can you please read the slide?
Yes, ma'am. Photoelectric effect. In 1887, H. Hertz performed a very interesting experiment in which electrons or electric current were ejected when certain metals, for example, potassium, rubidium, cesium, etc., were exposed to a beam of light. The phenomenon is called photoelectric effect.
Okay, thank you. Have you completed, children? Adulya, finished?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you can write. Shall I move to next one?
I finished.
Yes, right? Okay. Then I told you there are certain conditions for this phenomenon to take place. First one is threshold energy. Okay, threshold energy. So for this photoelectric effect to take place, the minimum amount of energy that is required to eject an electron from the surface of a metal, it is called threshold energy or photoelectric work function. So the minimum amount of energy that is required to eject an electron from the surface of metal on the exposure to this light, it is called threshold energy or photoelectric work function. If that minimum energy is not there, this photoelectric effect will not take place. Clear? This threshold energy, otherwise known as photoelectric work function. So this is the first condition for the photoelectric effect to take place. The minimum amount of energy that is required to eject an electron from a metal surface on exposure to light, it is called threshold energy or photoelectric work function. Although the work function specifically refers to the energy that needs to be put in, and the threshold energy refers to the frequency required to eject an electron. They are the same thing when calculating with the equation. In the equation, we are using same terms for both this threshold energy and this photoelectric work function. But specifically, this work function refers to the energy that needs to be put in. That means the energy needed for this metals to eject electrons from them when they exposure to the sunlight. Clear? So while calculating, we are using this threshold energy and work function with same equation, but it specifically this work function refers to the energy that needs to be put in, and the threshold energy refers to the frequency required to eject an electron. We have learned that in the postulates of photoelectric effect, or in the not postulates of photoelectric effect, postulates of Max Planck's quantum theory. Energy, it's a function of frequency, right? So here, specifically, this work function refers to the energy that needs to be put in, and the threshold energy refers to the frequency required to eject an electron. Okay, so this is the first condition for the photoelectric effect to take place. Threshold energy. Pooja, can you define this threshold energy?
It is the minimum amount of energy which is required to eject an electron from the metal surface is called threshold energy.
Very good. Then Gaia, what's the other name of this threshold energy?
Photoelectric work function.
Yes, photoelectric work function. Jewel, can you explain this photoelectric effect?
The minimum amount of energy that is required to eject an electron from the surface of a metal is called threshold energy or
It is threshold energy, right? I'm asking about photoelectric effect. What's the phenomenon?
It is a minimum amount of light required to eject the electron.
Explain that process.
The work function specifically refers to energy that
the
needs to be.
previous one, I'm asking this one. Photoelectric effect. The experiment. That explained by H. Hertz. What does that?
Special metals like rubidium, cesium,
potassium.
when they are exposed to light, they emit electrons.
Very good. That's it. Okay. That's the phenomenon of photoelectric effect. Have you completed, children, this one? Adulya, finish, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Shall I move to next one? Yes. So this is the first condition. That's the threshold energy. Okay. The minimum amount of energy required to eject an electron from a metal surface. Then the second one, it is threshold frequency. Second one is threshold frequency. So this threshold frequency, it's also similar to threshold energy. The minimum frequency of incident light. Incident light means the light that falls on the metal surface. Okay. Light that falls on the metal surface. So the minimum frequency of the incident light, which can cause emission of photoelectrons from the metal surface. We have learned that this energy, it's a function of frequency, right? So the minimum frequency that required for this incident light to falls on the metal surface and can able to produce this electrons, it is known as threshold frequency. Okay, that's threshold frequency. So this photo emission, that means the emission of this electrons, it is not possible below the threshold frequency. So we can represent this threshold frequency as nu zero. Okay, nu zero. This threshold frequency. So if the frequency is greater than nu zero, only this photoelectric effect will take place. The frequency greater than threshold frequency. Clear? The minimum frequency that is required for the incident light to emit electrons from the metal surface, it is known as threshold frequency. Clear? And photo emission of electrons, that means emission of electrons from that metal surface is not possible below the threshold frequency. So always the frequency must greater than this threshold frequency. So this is the second condition for the photoelectric effect to take place. Clear? Shabarinath, can you explain the second condition for this photoelectric effect to take place?
The threshold frequency, it is the minimum frequency required for the ejection of electrons from the metal surface.
Yeah.
So if the frequency is below the threshold frequency, then the electrons won't be ejected.
Yes, not possible. And we represent this threshold frequency as nu zero. It is not V. Okay. You can write nu. V stands for velocity. Okay. It's nu or nu zero. Nu stands for frequency. Nu zero stands for threshold frequency. This is clear? Any doubt, children?
No.
Okay. Have you completed? Yes, right? All of you? Then we are moving to the explanation of this photoelectric effect. That means the results that we can obtain from this photoelectric effect. Okay. we need to discuss these points also. So the first one you have to note down. When a photon of sufficient energy, that means a photon of threshold energy, strikes an electron in the atom of the metal. Okay, when this light falls on this metal surface, it will transfer its energy instantaneously to the electron during the collision. So when this light falls on this metal, this energy is transformed or transferred from this light to that metal during the collision, and the electron is ejected without any time lag or delay. So it's a spontaneous reaction, right? When this light falls on this metal surface, it will transfer its energy, then energy during this collision, and the electron is ejected without any time lag or delay. Okay, so that's the first point. When this photon or when this light falls on the metal surface, it will transfer its energy from this light to the metal during the collision, and this electron is ejected without any time lag or delay. That's the first result from this photoelectric experiment. This is clear? First one. Emmeline, can you read the first point? Photoelectric explanation. That means the results that we can obtain from this photoelectric effect. Yes.
When a photon of sufficient energy strikes an electron in an atom of the metal, it transfers energy intensely to the electron during the collision, and the electron is injected without any time lag or delay.
Yeah, that's the first point. This is clear, children. When this light falls on the metal, it will transfer energy during this collision, and these electrons are emitted without any time lag or delay. That's the process. And the second one, greater the energy possessed by the photon, greater will be the transfer of energy to the electron, and greater the kinetic energy of the ejected electron. So the energy or the threshold energy increases, greater will be the transfer of energy from this light to this metal surface, and greater will be the kinetic energy of the ejected electron. Kinetic energy, that's required for the movement of all subjects, right? All substances, the movement it's based on kinetic energy. There are two types of energies: potential energy, kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is due to the movement, and potential energy, it is in the stationary state, right? Okay, so greater the energy possessed by the photon, greater will be the transfer of energy to the electron, and greater the kinetic energy of that ejected electrons. So if energy increases, this energy of ejected electron also increases. That's the second point. Greater the energy possessed by the photon. That means if the threshold energy increases, greater will be the transfer of energy from that photon to the metal, and greater the kinetic energy of that ejected electrons. This is clear? Tom Sinton, can you read the second point?
Greater the energy possessed by the photon, greater will be the transfer of energy to the electron, and greater the kinetic energy of the ejected electron.
Yes. Then the third one, in other words, the kinetic energy of the ejected electron, it is proportional to the frequency of the electromagnetic radiations that we already discussed, right? This kinetic energy, or simply energy of ejected electron, it is directly proportional to the frequency of electromagnetic radiations. We have learned different types of electromagnetic radiations, right? Gamma ray, X-ray, UV ray, visible ray, infrared ray, radio waves, microwaves. They have their own frequencies, and they are arranged in the increasing order of wavelength or decreasing order of frequency. If we are using a high frequency electromagnetic radiation, the kinetic energy of the ejected electron, it is very high compared to the lesser frequency electromagnetic radiations. Okay, clear? So this kinetic energy of the ejected electron, it is directly proportional to the frequency of electromagnetic radiation. That means if the frequency of this electromagnetic radiation increases, energy of the ejected electron also increases. So these three are the main points regarding the photoelectric effect. Dia, can you read the third point?
In other words, kinetic energy of the ejected electron is proportional to the frequency of the electromagnetic radiation.
Yes. That is proportional to nu. Is proportional to nu. This is clear, children? Do you have any doubt in this portion? Anyone? All of you, please switch on your videos. Rahul, Malavika, Alina, Anila, and Mary, Elaine, Tushar, all of you. Finished? Have you completed these points? Adulya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then the next one, kinetic energy of the ejected electron. There is one equation to find out the kinetic energy of the ejected electron. Okay, it is h nu. If this equation is not clear, you can write from here. Okay, h nu is equal to h nu 0 plus half me v square. H stands for Planck's constant. Okay, what's the value of Planck's constant? Alandina, can you tell me? What's the value of Planck's constant?
6.626 into 10 raised to negative 34.
Yeah.
Joule second.
Joule second. Okay, this is the unit. So 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. H nu. H stands for Planck's constant. The nu stands for frequency. Okay, so H nu together, it is the energy of the striking photon. It is the energy of the photon strikes on that metal. And the next one is H nu 0. Nu 0 stands for threshold frequency. So this H nu 0 stands for threshold energy. Okay, we learned that E equal to H nu, right? E equal to H nu. So E0, that is equal to H nu 0. Threshold energy, that is equal to Planck's constant into threshold frequency. The next one is half MeV square. That is the kinetic energy. Me stands for mass of the electron. Okay. Then we can rewrite this equation as H nu minus H nu 0. So we are taking this H nu 0 to the left side. Okay. So H nu minus H nu 0 is equal to half MeV square. So this is the kinetic energy of ejected electron. That means the difference between energy of the striking photon minus threshold energy. That's the difference between the energy of the striking photon and threshold energy. That is the kinetic energy of the ejected electron. This is clear, children? I will repeat it once again. H nu is equal to H nu 0 plus half MeP square. H stands for Planck's constant. Nu stands for frequency. Then nu 0 stands for threshold frequency. Me stands for mass of electron. Then V stands for velocity. Okay. And here this H nu, it is together known as energy of the striking photon. That means the energy of the photon that is strikes on that metal surface. The next one is H nu 0, that is threshold energy, the minimum energy required for the emission of electrons from that metal surface. Then the difference, H nu minus H nu 0, that is equal to the kinetic energy of the photoelectron. So we can rewrite this equation as H nu minus H nu 0 is equal to half MeV square. And the value of this H, it is Planck's constant, 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. This is clear? Anjana, can you tell me the equation to find out the kinetic energy of ejected electron?
H nu is equal to H nu 0 plus 1 by 2 ME V square.
Yeah. When asking for this kinetic energy of ejected electron, you can use the second equation, okay? Half MeV square, that is equal to H nu minus H nu 0. That means the difference between the energy of striking photon and the threshold energy. Okay, this is clear, children? Any doubt regarding this photoelectric effect?
No.
Anyone? No, right? Okay, then we are moving to the next topic, that is about this atomic spectrum. Atomic spectrum. Atomic spectrum. You have learned about electromagnetic spectrum. Do you remember? Electromagnetic spectrum is the arrangement of electromagnetic radiations either in the increasing order of wavelength or decreasing order of frequency, right? So here this atomic spectrum, the spectrum is the range of different colors which is produced when light passes through a glass prism or through a drop of water. An example for this spectrum, it is shown by a rainbow, right? So the spectrum, it's the range of different colors which is produced when light passes through a glass prism or through a drop of water. Rainbow is an example for such a spectrum. Okay, and in the case of this atomic spectra or atomic spectrum, it's the study of atoms through their interaction with electromagnetic radiation. Atomic spectra, it is the study of atoms and the atomic ions through their interaction with electromagnetic radiations. So which are the electromagnetic radiations? Tom, can you tell me?
Gamma rays, UV rays, X-rays, then we have visible light, microwave, and radio waves.
Can you tell me this rainbow belongs to which electromagnetic radiation? Very good. It's visible. Okay. And it is better you have to learn it in the increasing order of wavelength or decreasing order of frequency. Okay. Gamma ray, X-ray, UV ray, visible, infrared, microwave, radio wave. So here this atomic spectra, it's the study of atoms and atomic ions through their interaction with electromagnetic radiation. Okay, how they are interacting with this electromagnetic radiations. There are different radiations there, right? So how these atoms or atomic ions interact with this electromagnetic radiation, such a study is known as atomic spectra. And there are two types of atomic spectrum. Can you able to guess which are the two types of atomic spectrum? Aditya Dev, can you tell me? It's depending upon the absorption and emission. Anyone? Yeah. Just join this word spectrum along with this absorption or emission. Then tell me.
Emitted.
Yeah, Dulya? Which are the two types of spectrum depending upon the absorption or emission of energy?
Emitted spectrum.
Absorption spectrum and emission spectrum, that's it. Okay. Then we can discuss these two types of spectrum in the next class. Okay, so these are the two types of spectrum that comes under this atomic spectrum. It depends upon the amount of energy absorbed or emitted. Okay. Lakshmi, what is this atomic spectra?
The spectrum is a different colors which is produced when the light passes through a glass prism or a drop of water.
Yeah, that is simply spectrum. I'm asking about atomic spectrum.
It is a study of atoms through their interaction with the electromagnetic
radiation. Okay. Finished, children? Yes, right? Yes. So today we have learned about this Max Planck's quantum theory and photoelectric effect. What do you mean by this photoelectric effect, Abhinav? All of you switch on your videos. Abhinav, can you tell me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am, it was performed at a very interesting experiment in which the electrons were ejected when certain metals were exposed to a beam of light.
Yes. This phenomenon is known as photoelectric effect. Okay. Which are the two conditions for this photoelectric effect to take place, Buddhadev? Yeah, which are the two essential conditions for this photoelectric effect to take place? Yes.
There should be certain metals like potassium, rubidium, cesium.
Yeah, then?
They should be exposed to beam of light.
Yeah, then what about energy and frequency? What's its name?
What, ma'am?
I think network issue there, right? It's not clearly audible. Malavika, can you tell me what's the name of the minimum energy and minimum frequency required for the ejection of electrons from the metal surface? Malavika Vibin? Yeah.
The greater energy by photon.
What's the name of that energy?
Photon.
Minimum energy.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Photon.
Minimum energy required for the ejection of electrons, it is known as?
Ma'am.
Navaneet, can you tell me?
Yes, ma'am. Threshold energy.
Yeah, it is threshold energy. What about the frequency?
Threshold frequency.
Yes, threshold frequency. Okay. All of you read this portion very well before the next class. Okay. Then we can continue the topic. That means two types of spectrum and its peculiarities. Okay, children, just wait. Let me take your attendance. Okay, then thank you all. See you in the next class. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.